everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Keep It 100 Debate Night. You've all been writing topics that you want to discuss. This is a safe zone. I won't tolerate any kind of attack, personal attack on anyone. Anyone's allowed to have their own view or point of view. We can agree to disagree. We're adults, yeah? No fighting. Anyone that's offensive to anyone will be asked to leave immediately. They need to, from the jump, please, because this is not Backchat London, yeah? We're not about that life. So, moving on. Your questions or your topics you've given me are in that bag over there. I will shake them up and pull them out. First topic is, should black people forget about slavery?
Hell no.
Yes.
I definitely don't think we should forget about it, and I don't think we can forget about it because it's still going on today. We're still going through it all the time. It might not be physical, but it's psychological, and that to me is more dangerous because that means you're controlling me like a puppet. For example, I get more successful, I pick the lighter-skinned woman. All of that sort of stuff is deadly. And what's my community? My community won't grow because my way of seeing things has been destroyed. It's been damaged. And then you put on the TV, you go on social media, and you see another black guy get shot. How are we supposed to forget? So even when I want to forget and I put on something positive, put on The Secret or something, and then someone will show me on Instagram, look, another black guy got shot. How am I supposed to forget? Even if I wanted to, I go to work, people look at you in a certain way. They're good at hiding it, but you can pick it up. And then as you become more successful, you've seen a lot less black people, especially in offices, and then it's just the way they talk to each other, and then when they're speaking to you, it's slightly different. You pick up on these things and you're reminded, oh yes, I'm black, yeah. So
We should forget about it. Yeah, because I'm pro-black. Like, let's do something positive. Let's put something more positive to focus. Because all I ever heard, and all I've ever heard is slavery this, slavery that, blah blah this. Oh yeah, I forgot I was black. Hell no. I know I'm black. And I'm trying to show you what my blackness is worth by doing something positive and not focusing on the negative and not always trying to make an excuse for the negative and for my lack of success.
I think the question isn't probably accurately defined. And to go off the gentleman's point, like we have memories, so we're not designed to forget things. I believe the answer is yes. The reason why I say that is because I think it's more harmful to latch onto something rather than to leave it in the past and move on. And I think that what complicates things in this day and age is that we still have racism. We're still reminded that we are, unofficially treated as second-class citizens because of the colour of our skin and stuff like that. But what I found from a lot of, say, like woke people, that they will talk about slavery like all day long, and it's like, to me, it's like your mind is really still in the 1600s or 1700s when slavery took place. So it's like, okay, yeah, you're on 2018, you're on Facebook, but your whole thoughts is consumed about what happened to your great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers. So it's like, how can you expect to move on? We've got knife crime, we've got all different types of issues in the black community, we've got single mothers, we've got all the rest of it that we need to deal with, too many men in prison, all that type of stuff, and yet you want to keep sharing photos of, like, maybe your great-great-great uncle or whatever, you getting lynched and stuff like that. Now, those things are traumatic, they're painful, they're a bad reminder, but it's like, how long are you going to kind of dwell in that? Is it really benefiting you, or is it just making you angry?
I would say that it's obvious that we shouldn't forget, but in not forgetting, when we're looking at slavery, I think it should definitely be with purpose and intent. So not just looking at it for the sake of it or for a random topic of discussion or to traumatize ourselves, looking at it with a purpose behind it, with an intent. We're looking at it to strategize for how we're moving forward, because the same motivations that got us into slavery are still very present. That is why all the colorism, all those other things that we were talking about, that's why it's still happening. Because the motivations from the same groups of people and the same minded people is still prevailing today. So if we don't look at it, how are we supposed to work out how to avoid those pitfalls? There's plenty of people that are starting businesses, plenty of black married couples and all of that stuff that are facing challenges that are in place because they've been designed to be in place and still be in place under a different cover and a different look because we haven't learned the lessons that we needed to learn from slavery. So yeah, short and sweet.
I wanted to speak concerning moving forward from slavery. You mentioned something about the Jews. I think that we need to learn from their example because something devastating happened to them as well. How they became prosperous, how they became wealthy is through serving each other. Everything that they do is for the Jews. And also, if you notice, the Chinese have mastered that technique as well. That's why they're one of the fastest growing economies. Everything the Chinese do is for the Chinese. When they, for example, if they get a shop, they're only employing Chinese people. When you see Chinese people working, they might, maybe on one occasion, you might see a black person. Everything they do is for the Chinese. Every business they open is for the Chinese. All their money is going into the Chinese. That's why the Americans have to put a stop on it, because if it continues, they will end up taking over America as well. So I think we need to learn from the Jews and the Chinese.
This Jewish argument, you need to understand the problem with the black community, in my opinion, is that you still have people crying, oh, those Jamus, those Jamaicans. And then you have the Africans, them Africans, them rascal, you know what I mean? We're still having this inward fight. Sorry, bad impressions. I'm not doing it. Bad impressions, I know. But my point is, you can't still have these two, these kind of issues warring still to today, 2018, and talk about let's get together. The Jewish people have a language, they have the same belief, they're all the same. An African person and a Caribbean person, if you ask them, they'll say, no, we're not different, we're different. We're not the same, we're not the same. Yeah? Africans, and even then, even if you want to go deeper, someone who's Ghanaian, don't call a Ghanaian Nigerian, you know?
Yeah.
Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. This is what I'm saying. The divide within ourselves is so much. If you say, okay, all black people get together, let's get together and decide we're going to impart in our own things or invest in our own self, we're still arguing over who's African and Caribbean first, before anything else.
You have to understand where that's coming from. Otherwise, the only narrative for them is that we are inherently dumb. And I cannot accept that. That it has to have come from somewhere. Now, every group of people on this planet have had its issues. For us, it was chattel slavery, not even just slavery, because this is a particular brand that was not known on the planet then or since. Chattel slavery is something very different because it takes the essence of who you are. It takes away your culture, your language, all of the things that allow society to build and develop. And so that interruption within our history has developed what the very issues that we are talking about today. Now with the Jewish, I mean that's a whole thing in there. It might be a more accurate term to call them Zionists, because the Jews who left out from Israel left as black. The Jews we speak about today have adopted the faith from within Eastern Europe and are now tracking back. Israel that was given to them as reparations for the Holocaust. We've yet to receive reparations. So, but even though they've been given a plot of land that was cleared out the melanated people in order that they can go there and be a strategic base for the United States, because this is politics, yeah? Even though they will still not let any last person on this planet forget what happened to them. You even say the word Jew, and you've got the Jewish defamation people on your back. Yeah. In the mid-90s, and this speaks about the strength of the Jewish lobby. Who was it? It was de Klerk, who was the head of South Africa at the time when it was under apartheid. Now he was planning a trip here at the same time as Louis Farrakhan. Now Louis Farrakhan was banned from the country because of a lobby of 20 Jewish men. De Klerk came even though thousands of us marched. Thousands. But that speaks to the strength of those people who stand on their history. And they make sure that every generation coming will never ever forget what happened to them. And so our children go to school and learn about the Holocaust and will come back and tell you about other people's history. We cannot forget ours, because the history is what drives a people. You will not know where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from. So if you're looking to cut off your history, get ready for the madness to escalate. I think that's why we are in many of the difficulties that we are, because our denial, and yes, it is painful and it's traumatic and it's not something that we relish. But my God, if we don't learn from it, we will be right back there. So we cannot afford to forget.
Human Rights Act 1998 came into law on the backs of the 1833 Abolition of Slavery Act being repealed. So the law that banned slavery in the European, in the British Isles and the British colonies was repealed in 1998, which means it was no longer illegal to have slaves. And then they replaced it with the Human Rights Act, Article 4, that says no one shall be held in slavery. No one shall be forced to engage in forced labor, except in the ordinary course of detention.
Prisons, yeah.
So if you go to jail, you can be used as a slave. Who's going to jail in alarming numbers?
Black people.
And I tell you something, they don't recognize how much of a trick bag it is until I connect it to our history. And when I connect it to our history, I say you can relive history, or you can choose from this very moment today that when you leave this place, you're never returning under any circumstances. And it's a whole heap of brothers up and down this country and sisters that was in Downview, YY for the young sisters that I've worked with that turn their lives around based on that information. We got two pillars of consciousness. We have two twin pillars of consciousness. Consciousness can either take us to depression, or consciousness can either take us to greatness. It's about how we use it. And if we don't understand, and this is what I mean by being immature as a group or a race of people on the planet. If we don't understand that the way that people make things happen in this world is through collectivism. So the thing is that what brought me out of the gangs in Los Angeles, what motivated me to be a part of a process to bring peace between Bloods and Crips and Watts, was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. But also growing up in an environment where I was very clear who the enemy was. I know we had our little beefs, but we were not missed at any point about who the Europeans were and what they thought of us. So Chuck D come, I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened it, I read it. It said they were suckers. They wanted me for the army or whatever. Picturing me giving a damn. I said never. Here come the U.S. military. Hello, young man. You gonna join the Marines today? I'm a Paru blood. I ain't joining your bullshit. And why did I say that? Because my father was a Marine. They destroyed my family by destroying my father in the Vietnam War. History. So those things, that's the way we're supposed to use it. And this little thing here, I want to show this. I'm gonna ask my wife to hold it. It's all about context. This is called a lineage timeline, developed by my very good friend Paul Obina, M.A., who is Nigerian Igbo in English. And it contrasts European history against African history. You see this little strip of blue right here? Yeah. That little strip of blue right there is the transatlantic age. That's when slavery and colonialism took place. Look at the rest of our history.
Yeah.
Look at Pythagoras' theory. Jakisha, can you come on?
Yeah, come on now.
Look at Pythagoras' theory. Where's Pythagoras? Here he is. He's born here. And they said that Pythagoras' theory was used to build the first pyramid. How the hell could that be? It was built over 2,000 years before he was born.
Yeah.
Then you got the Egyptian god, Peth, the god of creativity. The Oscar statue is based on that. So I show my children this history. When they give them misinformation in school, I bring them home and say, here's the real information. They're teaching your history in little bits to keep you confused. You can never become mature and accurate in what it is you do in the world if you don't understand who the hell you are. The brother acting a certain way, I take my time. I'm not quick to judge. I was a gang member.
That's right.
I was involved in the underground economy in my community, but I wasn't stupid. I was contained in a certain environment and with a certain mind state. And as soon as I got an opportunity to break out of that by the grace of God, I started learning, and my mother always told me, learn, read, read. So I'm reading, find a book. Who's the dude, Malcolm X? I never heard of him. Why ain't nobody told me about this? No, let me read this. Oh, wow, man, woo! I can't do that stuff no more. But this is the reason why we have to use it to uplift us and also to teach us that we have the cultural Kemet, but when we bring back the political Kemet, that's where we're going to get our freedom. Because it means we unite as one group of people, a truly universal pan-African culture and political structure that builds us as a nation no matter where we are. If we keep doing the little fragmented thing, the Europeans are going to continue to win. The African nation state is a European curse because it's their institutions with black faces. Thank you.
Okay. This is not color related, all right? Question is, what is your opinion on girls who have sugar daddy / boobs? If you don't know what boobs is, that's a slang that means basically like Jamaican version of sugar daddy, basically.
I'm gonna say maybe.
Why you want to talk about it?
I'm gonna say maybe we should ask the Nigerian girls.
Elaborate. One thing I sometimes say is behind every stereotype there's an element of truth. So, and I was joking, but there is an element of truth to it. If you go to Nigeria, there are lots of Nigerian women that have sugar daddies.
Bros, I will take you outside, you know. I will take you outside.
Are you Nigerian?
I'm Nigerian.
So you should know this. So you should know this as a fact.
Yeah, but it's not only Nigerian.
I can't speak for any other country, but I don't doubt that it happens in other countries. And because there's obviously a lot of police black men here, I'm speaking specifically about black countries, Caribbean countries, African countries. I do not doubt that it happens in other countries.
Yes, Melania Trump.
Exactly. Thank you.
You said that blew me away.
That's right.
So I wanted to follow through because that's a cultural thing that you just
Yes, that's what I was talking about. Right.
All right, let's just
So what I was basically saying is that in Nigeria there are lots of women that have sugar daddies. Now, people can come and look at it and obviously judge them, and yet it is obviously. I think that the reason why they do that, in my opinion, is due to the economic state in Nigeria. There's a lot of poverty there. You don't have job centers there. You don't have housing benefit there. If you're homeless, you're homeless. If you're broke, you're broke, and that's it. So people have to scrounge for whatever it is they can do. And these ladies, if there's no jobs, then they're going to have to look to the next best thing. They're going to have to use their assets. A lot of them at night, once it's 7 o'clock, sunset is gone, you see them on the streets. Right there, they're outside the beer parlors, they're outside the bars, they're at the bars, they're just sitting down there, literally doing nothing, just waiting for someone to come along. And somebody will come along, a sugar daddy will come along, most likely married, and, obviously cater to them. So I think, and if they don't do it, then where are they going to have the money from? A lot of them use that money to support not just themselves, but their families. That's the reality. So, in a sense, they're prostitutes. In a sense, some of them are prostitutes, but in a sense, a lot of them are prostitutes, and they don't exactly have a choice because it's easy for. If that happened in the UK, I can sit down and say, hey, look, you don't actually have to do that because there are job centers, the housing benefits, and these things like that.
Something in his defence, right? Because actually, working in this bar, learning this business, I'm not being funny, but what he is saying is very true. And I will have women come in this bar and not a penny. And they're waiting for whosoever will whatever. Oh, I would say, do you want anything? No, I'm alright.
Yeah.
He's for 45 minutes. A man will come along. Can you get this lady a drink? Oh yes, can I have?
Yeah.
That's parched. She's parched, and that is the truth. That is the truth. Women have their ways, and I don't think that will. I don't think it's a race thing, and I don't think that will ever change.
Yeah,
women just have. They use their means.
Marsha, that's what I agree with you. The thing is, I'm not disagreeing with him as a Nigerian. I've been to 100 been, but I've also been to the US. I've also been to the Europe, other countries in Europe. I've also been to, obviously I live in England. I've seen what I've seen. I know girls in London right now that are like, bro, I got 5 guys on the go, fam. One paying my car insurance, one paying my house rent. What you know, this is UK black people live, as well as being. I've been to Jamaica and St. Lucia. I've been to the Caribbean islands. Same thing. I bumped to a girl who was 19. She's like, yeah, I've got 5 guys that are paying all my shit because I can't afford to go to school. It's not gonna pay my way from school.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm saying, I've travelled to enough countries to know that that's the country thing is not relevant.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a race thing. It's not a country thing.
You will hustle as a woman. You will hustle. From your women, you will hustle.
Some women have their way. Give me the mic now.
Come get back on you, please. Girls are the most savage girls I've ever met in my lifetime. American girls. They'll be like, bro, what? You ain't got no money? You ain't got no money? The American girls don't play that, bro. You don't got no money, you can't even talk to them straight. So, my point is, yes, there are girls who are hustlers, who got sugar daddies, but it's a universal thing.
Yeah, it is
It's definitely universal, but his comment about Nigerian culture, I agree. Because I'm not gonna lie, let's be real, because I'm Nigerian. I ain't got no sugar daddy though. But what I'm saying is that
I
had to put that disclaimer out for you.
That was on CV. She looked at
I ain't got sugar daddy yet. But when you start getting to an age where your dad starts like you're now marriable, you finish uni, you know, you're ready to get married. Like, and you start telling your dad, well not my dad, but just in general in the culture, like, oh dad, yeah, I've got this boyfriend, his name is John. What does he do?
Straight.
What? Security? No. Let's go? No. What? No uni? No. You hand up to McDonald's. That's what So, with that, women are prioritizing the economic success. Nigerian culture and other cultures need to check the way they're teaching their children about what is the priority when you're looking for your other half.
Right.
Because we need to be careful, because that's why you got girls chasing money.
Yes.
That's why you got
So can I just counter what you just said? So if we're going to apply that in the Western society, in British society, where you have a lot of single mothers and the fathers are not present.
Yeah.
Therefore, the fathers are not present, and these fathers are not the ones that are planting these ideologies in the daughters' heads.
The moms as well.
Then, what then is the cause of this mindset that the young girls are going out with to find and seek sugar daddies?
It could be the mom.
But even more so if the dad's not in the child's life, in the girl child's life. Even more so, she's going to go and look out for that man that's going to be able to provide the whole thing that her father
Yeah,
didn't
but there's
even
a difference between a young girls who fathers aren't there, and I've seen this happen a lot before, where young girls, women who fathers are not in the picture, end up dating older men because maybe they are sort of subconsciously thinking a father figure. But that's different from having a sugar daddy.
Yes.
It's two different things. So that's what I'm trying to say. What then is the cause of that mindset of having sugar daddy in somewhere like the UK?
Lack of self-worth.
Don't give the mic to Jude.
Hold on. Wait, Twilight, go on.
I just wanted to drop a different. I will give a difference. Well, look at it from a couple of different angles. In LA, growing up, when I was dating and stuff like that, you know, you could be with a girl. She's your girlfriend, but you're not sure you're gonna marry. I just wanted to drop a different. I will give a difference. Well, look at it from a couple of different angles. In LA, growing up, when I was dating and stuff like that, you know, you could be with a girl. She's your girlfriend, but you're not sure you're gonna marry her. Whatever the case. And the reality is, if you're dealing with this woman and you're at her house, you're eating food at her house, you're taking showers at her house, you contribute to the house. Yeah? We call that back home, excuse the language, but I'm going to use it in the vernacular that we use it back in LA. We call that the pussy tax. I'm not here to play around. If you thought I was here to play around, then you're in the wrong place. I'm going to tell you like I know. Yeah? We call it the pussy tax. Yeah? Because if you're not with the girl and you're not going to marry her, but you're in her house and you're using her stuff, you're eating her food, you're running electricity, then the least you can do is pay the pussy tax. And that's what we used to call it.
Contribute.
And I would tell my daughter, I got a daughter that's older, my oldest daughter, and I tell my oldest daughter who's now in her 20s, and I told her when she started dating and doing her thing, that a man will give you his shoe money. Don't think because he gave you $100, $200, $300, he spent that on his shoes.
Yes.
I know this because I was one of those dudes. I give you $300 here. And when I call you later, don't be playing like you can answer the phone. We know what it is, but we don't call it what it is. We know what it is, but we don't call it what it is. And it's a gender thing. I can see men living in a cave with no electricity. Not all men, but I can see men doing that. But women ain't doing that. They gotta have certain things, they gotta live a certain way, they gotta move a certain way. They're not living like that. And if you live in a capitalist society that is disconnected to people from the land, drug all of the people into the city, where nothing grows naturally, nobody owns anything, and then the only way you can get anything you need is you gotta get a job to get money. If it ain't enough jobs, people gonna get their options.
Yeah.
So we gotta be real about that. I can remember when the NBA, when the NFL, and I think even some rap managers started telling rappers, started running a program on how to effectively dispose of a condom. Why? Women were stealing condoms to impregnate themselves. Enough men got dragged into court, paying $6,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $50,000 a month. That was her career plan. That was her retirement plan. Police tax going up. Exactly. So like I said earlier, the only people in the room, gender-wise, that is guaranteed sex tonight if they want it, is women. And that's something that can be exploited. And the reality is that when it comes to the money, this becomes a major contributing factor to the lack of our success. And we got to look at how do we make things work in our own context. You can't expect a man to carry on here the way he would in Nigeria. The dynamics are not the same. You understand? And if you're a black couple in this country, you cannot expect to be running things the same way some middle class family living in Dulwich do things. You're not on their income level. Play your position. Yeah? And recognize that we got to work a certain kind of way. The glue that holds us together, yes, people talk about love, people talk about communication, people talk about trust, all of that. That's important, but what is it without purpose? Because if you don't have no purpose, I don't care how much love you got. Where's that relationship going? How's it going to survive when the challenges come? So this is the context. So when you talk about this money thing, you got Findom going down. Why does something like that even exist? What kind of fetish? How did that even come? Because of the context and the environment we live in. Don't lie to yourself. We tell girls back home, man, I don't hear no excuse, you broke. You got an ATM between your legs. I'm just telling you what's been said. We just said right there, we saw how you broke. You got ATM between your legs, you never broke.
Blame the Americans.
Yeah? I don't.
But that doesn't explain surely that is.
I don't blame the Americans.
That's all I want to know.
I don't blame the Americans. I blame the environment that's been developed that creates that.
Yeah, but the way things are done in the States is different from the way things are done here. It's completely different. So it doesn't explain. I appreciate that from the States. I really do. And it's very interesting to hear the perspectives. But in the UK, it's completely different.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
our welfare system is actually built up better. So I do feel like it's partly greed. I do feel like it's
yeah, because
because that's the other side of it.
Yeah.
It's the black men who are exploiting that condition, knowing that because I'm weighted, I've got a certain amount of years and money behind me, I can throw off a few shekels and I've got the little chicken heads then running behind me.
Yeah.
So some men are exploiting that.
That's true, actually.
Okay, well, on that note, we end the evening because we could be here all night. We go working out in the morning. So thank you guys for coming out. Round of applause, I think. Yeah.
Testing.